don't throw it in the farm because it will not decay. It can't turn to manure. It can't do anything. So it will just remain that way over and over. And that's why you see, when you see flooding and you see different things that clog up and build flooding, you find out that most of the things you see in that flood heaped up in most cities, I don't want to mention any name, so no state will say I'm dragging them, but I know where I'm referring to, Gongo. You'll find out that there are heaps of plastics, whether it's for water, it's for drinks, and what have you. And so the question is, how do our everyday choices contribute? Many of us use plastics every day. We buy sachets of water. I've said that we accept plastic bags for every purchase. We go to supermarkets, even by the roadside. When you buy your ata, pepper, when you buy your okra, when you buy different things you need by the wayside, they use nylon, to pack it. They use disposable cups and plates, and we throw plastic waste on the roadside. And all these add to the problem. They may seem like small actions, but imagine in a particular community, imagine 10 to 50 to 100 persons doing it in one community. Now spread it across different communities, as it were. That means millions of people do the same thing every single day. The amount of plastic waste becomes enormous, and that is disaster in waiting. Trust me, because yes, it might not cause any harm, but it doesn't get decay. It doesn't turn to manure. It doesn't. It's just there. And when many of it clogs a place, our waters cannot move. But we have plastic waste blocked. These plastic wastes block our gutters. For a layman, gutter, I don't know how to put it. Gutter is where our water is supposed to pass through on a daily basis. So when these wastes now clog these gutters, which are supposed to be our drainage channels, it makes flooding worse during heavy rainfall. And you'll agree with me that in the last few days, the heavy downfall has been something else. But hey, we need it because we're also looking at our farms. It also pollutes rivers, lakes, oceans, making the water unsafe for people and even wildlife. When we continue to have this waste clog these places, it becomes unsafe. Animals sometimes mistake plastic for food. Yes, they could mistake plastics for food, and this can also make them sick or die. We also need our animals. We do not want, just like our green areas are going into extinction, we do not want our animals to die. No, we don't want that. And when plastic waste is burned in the open, because we also move around and we see some places where plastics are gathered and burned in the open, it releases harmful smoke. I'm sure you have seen such smoke, very thick and dark smoke that pollutes the air, and it can affect our health. And daily we pass through these places, we drive past, we might say, oh no, I'm just in my car, this and that. Hey, one way or the other, we're inhaling this smoke, and it is not good for our health. This is why plastic pollution is not just an environmental problem, it is also a health problem. And that's why on Climate Care, we have said that it is for us to address our climate, we need a multi-sectoral approach. It's not something you'd say, no, we'd leave it for one particular sector. Oh, it's the health. Oh, it's for the government. It's for the policymakers. Oh, no, I don't live in that community. It's for that particular community. No. We must hold each other accountable. And one of the things we've said on this show is the fact that we need to play our role. The community will play their role, the government will play their role, and every other person has a role to play so that we don't even fall sick. Because when you need to fall sick, it's not going to ask, do you live in that environment? The answer is no. The answer is no. Anybody can fall prey. If you are just joining in, you are most welcome today, the 10th of July, 2026, and you are on to the show Climate Care. Today we are handling the topic, the hidden cost of plastic pollution. how our everyday choices affect our environment. Welcome to Women Radio once more, Nigeria's first and only radio dedicated to women and their families. Yes, that's what we do on the show. You can join the conversation on 0700 0917 You can do well to call the toll-free line on 0800 0123517. You can send us a WhatsApp message on 070 317 or you can even watch us on the go on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. And it's also important that we begin to look at what can we do differently as we begin to, highlight. We are not only here to highlight the problems. No, we are solution providers. That's why Climate Care comes to you in the confines of your house, your car, your shop, your office, wherever you might be. So what can we do differently? The good news is that every one of us can help reduce plastic pollution. And it's not very difficult. Here are simple steps we can apply. Carry a reusable shopping bag when going to the market. When you're going to the market, just fold your bags. You don't need to collect more bags and, litter everywhere with nylon bags, whether it's any type of bag. I don't want to mention names here, and then we need to reuse our plastic containers instead of throwing them away immediately. Trust me, even the plate I used to buy my food yesterday, I washed it because it might come in handy for me the next time I need to do something, even though we know that some places, they would not even sell that food to you except you are buying a fresh one. But please help us by not just throwing it and dumping it on the road. Again, avoid littering and always dispose your waste properly. If you live in an estate, if you live in an environment where you have a place where you can dispose your dustbin, gather them in a sack. We have this, when you go to shop, buy disposable sacks, tie them together and put them in the main waste bag so that those who clear some of these things will be able to come and pick them up. You don't just need to abandon it anywhere. Yes. And then it's also important that we separate plastic waste where recycling services are available. If you live in an area where recycling services are available, please separate them. Separate the plastic so that it can be recycled and used. It is very, very good. It's also good that we encourage our families, our family members, our neighbors, to keep their surroundings clean. We don't need to litter our surroundings, dumping things, randomly. It's not me, Jare, in this part of the world. Kokomi, it's none of my business. Hey, when the flooding starts, you will not see road to reach your house. It's not about who dropped it. That's why we must all hold each other accountable. We don't need to litter our surrounding. It's also important that we continue to support community cleanup activities whenever it is possible. That cannot be overemphasized. Any day of the week, your community picks up. Is it the end of the month? Is it weekly? However, please support community cleanup activities. It is pertinent. Don't form, done whatever, and you don't want to come out when others are doing cleanup. Injury to one is injury to all, so we must all do the needful. It's also important that we imbibe changes in our daily habits because it can make a difference. If you have been littering your environment, yes, we know. We are not saying we are saints over here, but it's also important that we learn new habits that will improve our environment. And then it's important that we protect the environment. It's not the responsibility of one person alone. I have always reiterated this, and even the guests we've had on the show have also reiterated this fact that it is not a one-man show. We must work collaboratively to do this by protecting our environment. It's also important that we know that government must provide proper waste management system. Government, we must hold our governments accountable. And trust me, some of these things, the government might not even know that the trucks are not coming to pick your waste. So how do you reach out to the government? Is it through via social media? Do they have an official email? Please write to them. They must provide a waste management system that is working, not the one that is on paper, not the one we hear about, but our environments are littered with so many things. No, we don't need all of that. It's also important that businesses reduce unnecessary plastic packaging and invest in sustainable alternatives. We can't keep doing plastic paparazzi and littering our environment. What are other sustainable, alternatives that we can use, even as a business enterprise? Because it's your business and you need to find other ways to also support the government by making it easy for everyone. It's also important that, like I've said, community cleanup exercises. It's very important. And this you can only do when you raise awareness on the importance of keeping our environment clean, the importance of having our different spaces, clean. One thing I have noticed in the area where I live is that we have waste bins in strategic places, even on the street. So it is very rare for you to come out in my area and see plastics on the floor, no, or even see dirt dropped on the floor. And this is me being honest. So we need to find a way around these things. And as individuals, we must choose to use less plastic. And even when we have to use, please dispose this waste responsibly. Whether they are your children who go to school with some of these things that are in plastics, please teach them right. I remember years back when I was a teacher in a public school, and that was a public school, not even a private school. We had a big container. So when children drink anything plastic, they are expected to put it there. Do they do it always? No. But over time, we kept speaking about it at the assembly ground. And the children now, even when they see a plastic container that they didn't use themselves, they'll just pick it and go to that place and put it in the bigger, the bigger jar, so that when it's time for recycling, those who will come to pick it will be able to pick it in bulk that way. You could do such things in your communities. It could be CSR from a government agency, from a bank, or look at the areas where different organizations are supporting and find how they can put some in our various communities. And so, as we begin to round up this morning, I want to tell us that plastic has made many parts of our daily lives easier. That cannot be overemphasized. Yes, it does. But the way we use and dispose of it has lasting effects on our environment. In as much as it makes life easier, it also has its pros and its cons. And so we must intentionally look at our ways of disposing it, and if possible, recycle this. The hidden cost of plastic pollution is seen in blocked drainage systems, polluted water, unhealthy communities, and increased environmental challenges. The good news is that the solutions begins with simple choices that we make every day in our various communities. Refusing unnecessary plastics, reusing what we can, disposing of waste properly, and encouraging others to do the same are all important steps towards protecting our environment. Remember, every plastic item we dispose of responsibly is one less piece of waste harming our planet. And we all have to ensure that each of us, supports this drive so that we all live in environments where we are all safe. Not everyone has a car. So imagine if you are walking and you miss your step and step into a ditch. You know what that means? We all have to be accountable for what we do with our daily lives, with how we dispose our waste, so that we do not harm our planet. If you are just joining, do well to go on all our social media handles, especially our YouTube, to watch the show Climate Care on Women Radio WFM 91.7. I'm Susan Ihoma, and until next time, let's all make choices that protect our environment, because a cleaner planet begins with each one of us. And many thanks to my studio production team, and also many thanks to my executive producer, Tom Showale Okenaya. I hope I did not make mistakes in that name. No. Stay informed, stay responsible, and remain climate conscious. Even as you go for parties this weekend, yes, my eyes are on you. You see, when you take all of those mende you will take at that party, please ensure that you dispose properly. Ensure that you dispose properly. Stay informed, stay responsible, and remain climate conscious. Until I come your way next week, Friday at 11:30 a.m., I'm still Susan Ihoma. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye for now.